One of the things I like to always talk about in a segment known affectionately on stream as Dare Journalistin is one of the things I've never really adapted to, because I'm just a guy, is I say things, and the things that I say go into the news cycle. And sometimes it's not even things I say. Like, for instance, a Russian site, I think it was, a Russian or Ukrainian website, I can't remember which one, some betting site, said that I had predicted England to win the fucking, Euros or the World Cup or whatever it was. And I was like, I've never even talked to you guys, never. And nor would I predict England to win anything under Southgate as it was back then. But they tweeted it out. And it was just it was Richard Lewis predicting, what? What's that? And then obviously, famously, we had the Na'Vi one, where it was reported on a Russian news website. I called Blade a clown, or as Simple said, a clone. Now look, obviously, he was failing to win with a very good lineup. Since then, I think he's established himself as the greatest coach of all time. I'm going to say it. I think he's surpassed Sonic at this stage. But anyway, never said it. News cycle, Simple reading it on stream, people attacking me for days in what I called the Na'Vi Defence Force. But sometimes it is things I say, and I've really said them, and they become news. And why? I'm just saying things. Can I not just say things? And it turns out, no, unfortunately, the price of being a Z-tier shit e-celeb is sometimes you say things, and the things you say blow up and become news. So I've learned to live with that. And I've incorporated it into my content. We call it Dead Journalistin, because one time I was in the German news. I can't even remember what for. Hopefully, nothing bad. And it was Dead Journalistin Richard Lewis, or probably not Dead Journalistin, whatever it really is in Germany, but German, but whatever. So anyway, it's happened again, but it happened again a year ago, right? And no, it wasn't a year ago. My bad. It was only like 6 months ago. So, okay, 6 months. But this is how ahead of the curve I am. 6 months is still a long time in esports. And you will see this news story happened on Dust2.us, which we've just been talking about. And there I am in a tan suit, which people said wasn't tailored when it was. And I'm just never going to wear a tan suit ever again, because for some reason, the only time I got hate for doing the Copenhagen Major was because I wore a tan suit. It was like, now I know how Barack Obama felt, It was a tough one, a real tough one. Anyway, there I am. An update. RMR tournaments could be gone in 2025. Richard Lewis hints. Dead Journalistin. The change to the major qualification circuit system comes amidst other major changes in 2025. So back then, this was when we announced we were all going to do everything off the Valve ranking, right? You all remember that shit, and everyone was losing their goddamn minds about it. Renowned esports journalist, for I am the Kwisatz Haderach. Let's Start a Cult, by the way, in case you're wondering. Yeah, that just is a bunch of kids engaging in some sort of demonic sacrifice. It's just there. I'm getting ready, because I'm white dudes for Kamala. Renowned esports journalist and PGL Major Copenhagen 2024 host Richard Lewis claimed yesterday on stream that Valve may discontinue their regional major ranking tournaments, which serves the qualifier for the majors in 2025. The claimed change comes as the Counter-Strike 2 is set to undergo a major overhaul in 2025, with PGL and Starladder announcing a plethora of tournaments, while ESL and Blast partnered leagues are set to come to an end under Valve's new rules for Counter-Strike esports. Partner leagues are dead in 2025, and suddenly we have a major esports tournament every week. Starladder are back, PGL are back, Blast, ESL, all the partner leagues are dead. From what I'm hearing, RMRs might be gone. While Lewis's clip was light on details on how the major qualifiers may work in future, his mention of ranking points is an interesting hint about how teams may qualify for majors in future. For those with good memories, when Valve first introduced RMR tournaments in 2020, it was originally a series of tournaments that awarded points to qualify to the major. But then Valve abandoned this idea after the PGL Major Stockholm 2021 and essentially returned to running minors in all but name for the following majors. However, a return to the open circuit may be the impetus for bringing the concept back to CS. So basically, yeah, right. That was what I said. And drum roll, please. Turns out he's done it again. He's done it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. Because time is a flat circle. And there it is. Sources. This is a striker report, and they've put it in the Austin major in 2025. Obviously, the first major of 2025 is going to be in Austin, Texas. So we're going to see just how dead the NA scene is there. Praise for no Rio crowd, right? But majors to expand to 32 teams from 2025, RMRs to be removed. Now, just before I read about the changes and about the news, I do want to say I fucking hate the RMRs. The RMRs made sense functionally back when they were first introduced. You played in the RMR, you earned points, you did a number of RMRs, and then at the end of whenever it was, the fucking season, you tallied up the points, enough points, you went to the major. Wicked, fine, that makes sense, do that. That was pretty much like similar to how the DPC over in Dota was working. So I'm about that. But then what they became was just these trash qualifiers where dog shit teams, some cheating their way through on shitty little fucking face-it qualifiers with 5,000 fucking teams entering into it, and dog shit bedroom orgs, nightmare seeding protocols that couldn't be fucking put in place. And ultimately, you got shit teams fluking their way through RMRs and then attending a world championship. That's not what world championships are about, my dudes. That's not how a world championship should ever work. Now, listen, I love the regionality of it, but I'm glad they're getting rid of the RMRs, man. I just think they're not good. I just don't think they are fit for purpose. I actually much prefer a world where you are going to be selected, and yes, there will still be a regional aspect to it, but based on these ranking points, based on what you do over the course of a season, the consistency, because I detest these fucking shit orgs that just want to do anything they can to get sticker money. I just don't like it. You can say, oh, but it's giving smaller players an opportunity. Team owners and organizations are garbage with this. They'll throw any old shit at a wall weeks before the fucking RMRs, weeks before qualifiers, just desperately in the hope that their team might blunder into a world championship. I don't want that for a world championship. I don't want teams like Bad News Eagles lose. Wait, we got to win these ones or we don't get the sticker money. Try. I don't want that. I think that is actually poisonous for competitive Counter-Strike. And listen, not popular either, but it's a little bit late in the day for the popularity. This drillers stuff does my fucking head in. And now, listen, I've squashed the beef with Ornapixel. Spoiler, the beef was he was tweeting at me and annoying me, and I blocked him on Twitter, and then he continued to tweet at me and beg to be unblocked. Anyway, after having met Donna at like the Copenhagen Major or whatever, I unblocked him and said, like, you know, what's up, my driller, in a DM, right? Because I thought, fuck it, life's too short, you know what I mean? I'm getting all the bad blood out, right? But, like, honestly, not my type of content. I think fetishization of skins has fucking murked Counter-Strike. I think it's been terrible for the space. And also, this drillers stuff, it is, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, narcissistic and cynical. And if it had been any other content creator, well, not any other, but if it had been Kassad that had gone down to the Asian qualifier and then with a team with no fucking Asians in it, qualified at the expense of Asians, Reddit would have a fucking opinion about it, believe it or not. And that opinion would be why Kassad must be burnt alive in a wicker man. But oh no, it's just a hobby, he's just doing it for fun. Owner's actually going to be the coach. Look, he's taking it serious. He's getting all the excuses because Reddit plays favourites. So no, I don't like any of that shit. Getting rid of the RMRs eliminates a lot of that bullshit because you have to be serious about running a team and you have to be serious about having the money to run a team. You can't just fluke a tournament and get to a major. You have to be present. Brilliant. Now I'm about it. That's my opinion. Those are my real, unfettered, not saying it for shock value, 100% opinions. Not rage bait, not engagement bait, not clickbait. Just genuine opinions. So, let's see what the changes are. Counter-Strike 2 majors are set to expand from 24 teams to 32, beginning from 2025. Multiple sources have revealed to HLTV. I promise I was not the source. Furthermore, the qualifying process for the major will also undergo a significant change. After serving as the final qualifying stage in the major cycle for the past 4 years, regional major ranking events will be removed, the sources added. Oh, hallelujah. Although it isn't clear if this will be the only avenue, invitations to the majors are instead expected to be largely based on Valve's team ranking, Valve regional standings, the VRS, moving forward. As a result of the expansion to 32 teams, the plan is for an extra Swiss stage to be added to the majors in addition to the existing opening and elimination stages. This also means that majors will last longer, adding about 4 days on top of the previously announced 14 days to create space for the additional stage. But I saw a lot of people saying that they don't like Swiss and that they don't want another Swiss stage and that actually it bloats and the games are boring and it's going to drag out the tournament and everything else. And so, look, if I were doing tournaments, I've already said what I would do. It would be seeded, double elimination brackets. Day one, the games count, because if you lose, you go into the lower bracket. If you lose those games, you're out. That's how I would do everything. I think that's the ultimate format. I've watched esports. I've seen, fucking GSL and fucking all these other blue balls and fucking, this system, Swiss system, redraws. I've seen all of it, right? For me, I just want to see you thrown into a double elimination bracket, fighting for your tournament life right from the get-go. That's what I think's best. I think back to the early tournaments when we, when all esports tournaments just were that. There wasn't even a group stage sometimes. You just went straight into a bracket. I used to love that shit. It was blink and you'll miss it. Like, you could have one bad day as a team, because this is also when we played multiple series in a day. You could have one bad day as a team and just be out of a tournament. You could have one sleepless night, one missed flight connection, some lost luggage. Boom, you're out of a tournament. You never kind of knew what the fuck was going to happen, particularly in the early stages. But also, it created some epic shit. Like Fnatic, quite famously, back when they had the best team or one of the best teams in 1.6, and they were a delight to watch, one of the things they would quite famously do, there was a meme at the time, day one Fnatic, they would lose. They would lose their first game, and they would go in, or they would lose their group stage games, and they would have to go into the lower bracket, but they would battle back and win the tournament, and it would be fucking epic. Everybody loves a lower bracket run. So I've watched all types of esports, all types of games for 20 years. I just like double elim. I don't want us to be like chess. I don't want us to be like the Premier League. I don't want us to be like the NFL. I think we can now say comprehensively this arcane format that I think originated in baseball works for us. Let's stick to that. But that being said, I did work a Dota 2 event recently, and I've been watching a Dota 2 event that's been going on, Dream League. And what I love about what we did in Valahia, what Dream League's doing, is they are these tournaments that have Swiss into double elimination brackets, and they get to take their time. The days are just sort of free and easy and breezy, and you turn up and right. Today's the day you do 2 best of 3s. 2 best of 3s for a day rate. Sign me up. But also the pace of the tournament. There's so much room. You can talk about all the different ideas you have, all the different narrative strands. It's very easy to follow. It just has this flow to it. So I actually have come out of doing that Dota event with a renewed appreciation of the Swiss stage. I was a little bit down on it going in, but I think Swiss into double elim might be the best way to do esports tournaments. If you have to have some sort of seeding / qualification component, I don't hate the Swiss system. I definitely don't hate it. Like, when you start bringing in boo calls, because I just call it blue balls, because no one even knows what the fuck is going on. Any system where I can be watching the games, all of the games simultaneously, watching all of the scores come in, And I still do not know who is going to qualify and who is going to play who in the next round. That system is shit. That system is garbage. Get it out of my fucking esports. That's trash. I don't want that. That's trash. It might make you feel clever. It might be sophisticated. The chess maniacs might fuck it. It's trash. Get it far, far away from esports, right? So anyway, another Swiss system, I don't mind. Another criticism people have thrown at this is expanding to 32 teams, because you will notice it doesn't make a distinction, or certainly not in this report. It might be something that comes in. It used to be, back when the first week of the major with the minors, right, essentially, repurposed, repackaged, you didn't get your sticker in from the minors. You had to go to the major for real, and that's what people wanted, right? Because that was the prestige. But the problem with sticker money being this, like, boom or bust reward that drives organizations to pick up teams in the first place is that those who get it regularly are better placed to fund their teams and can do so consistently. Those who get it inconsistently have inconsistent quality of teams, and by extension, inconsistent qualifications. And you could end up like Astralis, but without the money, and not be at a major for ages and just disappear out of existence. And the other thing is, you could not qualify at all repeatedly, and your team just implodes. So expanding it to 32, assuming those 32 teams are going to be getting a cut of the sticker money now, and it will be 32 at the major, and we're going to get this super long TI-style epic tournament, I'm about that. I think that's a good thing. It might dilute the prestige by having more stickers in the game, but if it means more money, and it means more even distribution of that money, particularly in 2025, by the way, remember, some of these teams aren't going to be competing at certain tournaments. Some teams are going to be getting paid by tournament operators to turn up. Others aren't. It's all going to be all over the place, guys. So for me, again, I think these are positive changes. People wanted longer majors. The broadcast talent wanted longer majors. The fans wanted longer majors, as far as I could tell. So this should tick all the boxes. And to the person asking the question, you know, how much money do teams get from the sticker money? It depends what strata you're in, because the different capsules have different values. But it's millions, mate. It's millions. It's millions. I mean, look, it's diminishing returns, but the Paris capsule was fucking insane. The Paris capsule was insane for teams. Anyway, back to the report. The first major to be affected by these changes will be the Blast TV Austin Major, which was previously announced for June 9th to the 22nd in 2025. The resulting expansion should not create a clash with any events currently announced, but it will put the starting day closer to the Starladder Series, Season 19, and Sky Esports Masters 2025, which ends on June 1st. Now, again, just for a little bit of context, I'm told a lot of people have asked questions. This is new information. I don't think this is publicly available. I'll go big head for a little bit then, so someone can like clip it out of context, put it on Reddit, and say, "Oh, the journalist." And what I've heard behind the scenes is that Starladder are not going to be doing their events in Kiev like they used to do historically. You know, I guess for obvious reasons. But it's actually going to be Budapest in Hungary. And I don't know if that's true. I haven't had it verified. This is the word on the street, not a Richard Lewis report. If I thought it was 100% true, or rather, I do think it's 100% true, but if I could verify it as 100% true, I'd put it in a report and I would post it to my website. That's when you know it's 100% accurate, because I put my motherfucking name on it like a George Foreman grill. But this is what everyone is saying behind the scene, that Starladder are going to be doing their events in Budapest. So you're going to have an event in Hungary, and you're going to have an event in India. I believe Sky Esports Masters is in Mumbai. And so the money is going to be key to attendance, because flying out to America from these radically different time zones with just a few days to acclimatize ahead of the major and all the media work and everything else you have to do, there's going to be some notable teams that might duck out on those events. And this is what I mean about the 2025 calendar is going to be insane, but it's going to be so good for everybody. There's going to be so many partnered streams, streaming rights, for like independent streamers. We might be able to bring like things like the No Majors Club back to life because there'll be games and events that I won't be going to for obvious reasons. Not that I would stream anything in the Riyadh fucking empire, but I would certainly, like, if I couldn't work a Starladder, I'd happily co-stream a Starladder with you and do a no Starladder club or whatever. So there's going to be loads of stuff, and honestly, it's going to bring the excitement back to Counter-Strike, because you're not going to see the same teams every week playing each other over and over again on an endless loop. There are going to be tournaments where big teams sit out, and it gives the other guys a chance to win a tournament and, paradoxically, climb up in those rankings and become the big team. I really don't see any flaws with this aside burnout. I don't trust I don't trust organization owners to treat players well, or tournament operators for that matter. So burnout, a problem, and maybe content saturation. Maybe overall viewership goes down because there's going to be a major, not a literal major, but a sizable, prestigious Counter-Strike event every weekend in 2025. Like, if you love Counter-Strike, and who doesn't love CS2? Let's be real. If you love Counter-Strike, you are going to see mega events every weekend for 2 years. Somebody in the chat asks, will the quality of CS rise over the next year? Absolutely. You can take that to the bank, because there's no substitute for grind. There's no substitute for grind. I was making this point in esports when I was on the desk. Bait playing like 140 fucking maps in a month or something. They're razor sharp. They're as good as they're gonna be. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, if you haven't played much that month, you're gonna get fucking tooled. Like, you're gonna get absolutely fucked up. So anyway, back to the report for the final bit. Originally 16 team competitions starting from the first Valve sponsored event at DreamHack Winter 2013. Counter-Strike majors were expanded to 24 when the stage, previously known as the main qualifier, was added to the major proper, starting from the E-League major in 2018. Just the motherfucking best one of all time. Outside of some seeding and naming differences, this will mark the first big change to the major format since then. So again, I'm pretty pumped. I'm pretty amped. Another question in the chat. Hey Richard, I tend to think that the busy 2025 calendar will profit the tier 1.5 teams the most, even some high ranked academy teams. All those teams taking the place of tier 1 teams that will skip for health reasons. So teams like 3D Max, ENCE, NIP will be allowed to access tournaments they would never have been allowed to. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Your name appears to be Beach CS, which could be read as Bitch CS, which is unfortunate. But you are right, Beach CS, Beach CS, Beach A CS. You are correct. Those teams are going to get opportunities that would have been denied them in the partnered league system. Although I will add, NIP were one of the partnered teams that were being artificially propped up by the partnered league system. So do I shed any tears if they get absolutely fucked over and slip through the cracks of professional Counter-Strike? Nah, not really. But yeah, I mean, that is the correct take. That is the correct assessment. It's another reason why I think 2025 is going to be a brutal slog for players, broadcast talent, and esports workers all alike. We're all going to be unified. I think viewership in general will peter out slightly over the course of the year. But in terms of opportunities to make money, opportunities to pick and choose your tournaments, more exciting narratives, a pressure on tournament operators to come up with more exciting ways to present tournaments like Blast have, with their like bounty system and all that crazy shit. I'm about it. I think 2025, it'll be the best year for CS probably since the good old days. And, what were the good old days? 2016, 2018, one of them. But I think 2025 brings us a lot closer back to that feeling, that spirit of the scene. So we'll see. So I was right again on that. That is the changes coming now officially confirmed. There will be no RMRs. I, for one, couldn't be happier about it. I am also aware, yes, I am going to be working all of the RMRs for this major. But look, I'll make them. I'll make them as good as I can. I'll tolerate it. I'll do it for all of you guys.